Ujjayi, and welcome to another episode of the Gated Gates podcast. We are glad to be back with you guys for another week. We are more than excited to bring you guys a show tonight. We are lucky enough to have a guest in the house with us tonight. But before we get to our guest, we'd like to acknowledge the forces in the non-material, particularly the ancestors, all the great ancestors, all the powers of nature that are standing behind the Earth Center, particularly all the ancestors of the Earth Center, your ancestors, our ancestors, for bringing us together, everybody's ancestors. Nebnabala Musa Moradinabig, the founder of the Earth Center. We would like to acknowledge all of the forces, all of the ancestors, all of the invisible powers that are standing behind this great work, all of the deities, all of the genies, everything that's standing behind this great work, and the invisible powers that are standing behind us. And with that being said, my name is Tutip Samahekwin Amir. I am one of your hosts of the Gate of Gates podcast, and I am here with
Kajazrim Saikapta, one of your hosts here tonight. Well, every night.
Yeah, you're always the host.
Right.
Yeah. And then we are joined by
Naba Yenboam.
And Yenboam is one of the initiates. She also is one of the initiates that happens to be from Meritah. So she grew up in Meritah. You know, she's of the culture, and we were lucky enough she was in town. So we were like, you know what, might as well have her on the show. We don't really like to to go into people's personal lives too much, because people are weird out there. And people like to use personal information for weird things. So, we're not gonna go into too much of Yenboam's life, because people are weird. But before we do that, just a word from our sponsor, because I sometimes forget. So, Sauce Hot Sauce. Sauce Hot Sauce began in 2007 when a small group of students traveling in West Africa were trying to think of ways to support charitable projects. One of the students traveling happened to be an artisanal hot sauce chef, and right there, Sauce Hot Sauce was born. Since then, Sauce Hot Sauce has prided itself on making exceptional artisan hot sauces with high-quality ingredients to support good causes. We continue to do this with the best and tastiest offerings of sauce flavors to date, with a focus on supporting displaced families in the Fara and Gorma region of Burkina Faso with the revenue from our sales. It's phenomenal. I used a lot of salsa verde earlier today because I was eating tacos. It's great. Get you some Sauce Hot Sauce. Get you some salsa verde. I know I'm always talking about Island Crown, but for my Mexican brothers and sisters out there, or people that like Mexican food, get you some salsa verde. It's very versatile. It's there for you. Not too much of a kick. It's got a lot of good flavor, a lot of good flavorful undertones. It's there for you, man. Sauce Hot Sauce, supporting good causes. Get it. So
You're really selling it.
well, they're one of our sponsors, and it's a good cause, so we're selling it. We're not selling it, we're standing for it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We're standing for it. So yeah. Can you send a link, please? The link. And so we're here with Yenboam. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but we don't really pre-plan the show. What I mean by that is, we don't sit here and say like, hey, you know what should we do, and like, what should it be about, and all this kind of stuff, because we want to be able to bring you guys a show as initiates where we just kind of, we hit the ground running. But we hit the ground running in a way where we like to be able to touch on anything and talk about anything in real time. So it's not like, some of those shows where they, spend a lot of time kind of thinking about what to say, kind of thinking about segments and all those kind of things. Like, we don't do that because it kind of destroys the mystique of unfolding, letting the show unfold in the way that it unfolds.
Makes it unorganic.
Yeah, it
or
makes it unorganic.
Seem unauthentic.
Yeah. And also just because me and Kajas and Raymond are so great at talking shit that we can just get up here and talk shit and we can just do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to necessarily sit here and be like, oh, what should we say? And, oh, God, what should we do? Like, Yenboam is obviously terrified. You can see how terrified she is. But that's okay. Because we're going to talk today. We really wanted to talk to Yenboam about a few things. Because we were kind of sitting here, we were thinking like, okay, you know what? Like, who would be the most interesting person in the temple to bring on the show? Because our original guest, there were some technical difficulties going on, and we weren't able to get them on the video feed because they're not here physically. So then once that kind of fell through, then we were like, all right, well, you know, hey, Yenboam, come here. And Yenboam was like, who, me? And we're like, yep, you. Get ready. We're going live. So, Yenboam, you grew up in Meritah, right?
Yeah.
How
Yes.
long have you been here in the States?
1 year now.
How do you like it? Be you can be honest.
I don't really.
Not so much.
So yes.
No. Be honest. Be honest. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm here for. I'm here for like the organization. Apart from that, I don't really like it.
No?
No.
What's the thing that you don't like about it the most?
Do you see how excited Kajas Raymond got when you said you didn't like America? He's like, what's the thing that you don't like the most?
Yeah. To start, I gotta say the food. I don't like the food at all.
The food?
Really?
Yes.
What food do you hate the most?
The food that I hate the most is the one that they like some burger with fake egg on top.
Burger
Oh,
with fake egg?
somebody gave you a burger with eggs on top?
Yeah, I don't know how.
You mean like fast food?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is like, you know how people, that's like some shit only certain people do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't eat burgers with eggs on it.
If I make it myself and I fry the egg,
You'll put eggs on it?
I'll put an egg on
he's
it.
one of those people.
But it's nice. No,
bro.
you gotta have it.
No.
I make it good.
Yeah, but no,
I'll make
bro.
it for you.
No,
No.
bro,
I'll make it
no,
for
we're
you.
good. Nobody
It's home-
it's
wants,
home cooked. I'll make it for
Nobody
you.
wants a
I'll
burger
make it
with
for
eggs
you.
on it.
Yes, you do.
No.
I put some onions, some pepper in it, and some chop up the vegetables and throw it in the
bro.
egg and
Why?
just put it on top of
Why?
the burger. Why?
Yeah, why?
Because it's flavorful.
No one puts steak
I agree with you.
and eggs together,
Outside, I wouldn't do it, but I made it,
bro.
No.
so I made it good.
Nah, bro. It don't matter if you made it
Okay.
good, because at the
You
end of
haven't
the
had
day,
it yet. You haven't had it yet.
I haven't had it, and I'm glad I've never had it.
You will have it though.
No, I'm
Don't try
good.
it.
Yeah,
When I make it, then you'll understand.
No, bro.
You're
I'm not
gonna
eating
you'll
no
like
fucking
it.
eggs in
You'll
a
like it.
burger.
You like
It
it.
doesn't make sense. But yeah, so aside from the food,
Yeah.
what what else have you not been fond of or liked in America?
The culture too.
The culture?
Yeah.
Kaja's Raymond's eyes just lit up. He said, culture. What do you mean?
Yeah, you have to define that.
When I say the culture, like the way that people live in here, just weird. It don't make sense at all for me. Like, yeah, they have, like growing up in Africa. Before I came here, we like this, like my young people, like my age. We like this life. Like when we see that, we like, oh, we want to be like this. We want to go to America. We want to have this kind of life. But being here is like, no, I don't think you guys will like it for real. Like, no.
So that's something that I think a lot of people outside of America don't understand, like how good at, like America is like a really powerful like illusion or like lie, because what they do is they do a phenomenal job at making you think that America is better than what it is, and then you come here and then it's terrible.
Well, they have to do that. It's the marketing trick. They
Yeah,
have
it's
to, because
advertising.
it's, America right now is technically Rome. it's the one on top of the world stage. So they have to do everything that they can to get all the people from all the other places to come here, pile up here, to continue to build here.
Yes,
That's the goal.
true.
That's just what it is. So, you know, it's just human resources, human capital. So, but what would you say, though, is the thing that you really don't like, though? You said the culture, but, like, what about it?
What about the culture? Like,
Or lack of culture? I say, you said culture, but I said, or lack of culture.
yeah, like, when I say culture, like, you guys, like, it's like you don't have something. When I say like culture, it's not like culture. Like, I don't think it's you guys really have something that we call culture. You know, you guys don't have like a foundation. Just you guys living to live like every day.
So it's like because I think I know what you're saying, and it's kind of like there's no point.
Yeah.
Like here, there's no point to the way you kind of live your life. Like there's like clearly defined, like, oh, okay, like I live like this because like my parents exist and they're raising me this way, and I exist because of this, and like I'm here, I know like my place is to do this. I'm supposed to like, you know, wake up and go here, and like this makes sense. Like I'm supposed to watch my mom, I'm supposed to watch my dad, and I do as they do, I live as they live, I function as they function.
Yeah.
But then here it's like, fuck it. Like you just wake up and then it's like, who cares? You can do whatever you want, and you don't have to, you know, fit into or look at or live your life like your parents or anything like that.
And then some people don't even like know if their parents exist. You know, like no, like seriously, like I can have conversation with someone and then be like, oh, where's your mom? Where's your dad? They're like, she's somewhere there. You know, it doesn't make sense. It just, I mean, everyone is like, I don't know how to say in English, but everyone is like in their things. Like, like your mom give you
separated.
birth. Yeah, your mom give you birth. After that, you grow up. She took her time to raise you and all of that. You grow up and then you go do your shit. You just leave her there. Like,
I guess that's what they call freedom, though.
I don't think it's freedom.
Well, they think it's freedom.
That's what they think it is.
That's what they think it is. Well, because, you know,
It's
people grow up here hating their parents. You know that? But is that something you could do in Africa?
I mean,
No?
When we say Africa, we have to be honest. Africa is somewhere people are lost to. Like, if you grow up somewhere, like, you have a foundation, you know that you can grow up and then be like, I hate you, mom. She'll be like, why?
Yeah, exactly. For what?
For what? You know? I don't think, no.
Well, I think you just made a good point, because you said there's a different, like, being honest, there's people in Africa that are lost too.
Yeah.
Because, and what you said is really important. Like, there's people that have a foundation, and then there's people that don't have a foundation. What would you say is a foundation?
For me, I would say, like, foundation for me is like, go up somewhere, like, you know, like you have, how do you say, like it's like a branch, like you have.
Oh, there's the tree.
Yeah.
And then you have the branch of the tree.
Like everyone is there, and then they teach you like what is like what you are, like who you are, like what the family is, and then all of that. Like they build you to give you all of the
identity.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, they give you all of that, and then I mean, I would say is like a foundation for someone to know like who I am, and then like where who I am, and then where I'm going, like where I'm come from, and then where I'm going. If you don't have that, you just live. And then our parents there, they made their effort to give us that thing to hold in our hand to like honor them
Yeah.
after. Yeah.
So it's like the important part is the foundation really comes from having your identity and understanding like family in and of itself is a tree, and then there's like the roots of the tree, and there's like the trunk of the tree, and then there's branches that come from the tree. And then you understand that you're just a branch of that tree. And then you understanding that you're a branch, then you're like, okay, you know what? Like, I know I can't do this. I know I can do this and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, because I remember my dad always used to say to me growing up, he's like, you know, if you know where you're coming from, you can know where you're going. But if you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going. And I never understood that, because I thought everybody else in America grew up knowing where they come from. And then you start talking to white people, right? And then white people are like, yeah, I'm white. And you're like, yeah, but where are you from? They're like, America. And you're like, well, where in America? And then they're like, America. Like, I'm from Wisconsin.
Minnesota.
And then you're like, but what about before that? Because at some point your family didn't live here. And then they're like, no, I'm from Florida. Like, oh yeah, I'm from Tennessee. And then even you talk to black people, and a lot of black people don't know where they're from. Or they got to go to things like 23andMe and, you know, I don't know what other ones there.
Ancestry.com.
Ancestry.com.
AfricanAncestry.com. That's the one specifically for black people.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's like specifically for black people who want to find like their African roots. So they like have all the DNA database from everybody in Africa. So, and then they pair it with the black people in America, and then they see who you match with, like genetically, and then that's how people.
That's how they know.
That's how they know where you can go find like your clan or your tribe or whatever. But it's kind of interesting because it's like, what would you say to somebody who looks at that like, oh, my family gives me my identity, and then they would say like, oh, that's almost like a kind of like slavery for them, because for a lot of people here in America, their identity comes from them just being out in the world. Like, people have this concept of like finding themselves. Like, what do you think about that?
So it's like here, because they don't understand like the tree or the root that they come from, what they do is the process of life, instead of it becoming like, oh, okay, I know who my mom, I know who my dad is, I know my identity, I know where I'm from, I know what I need to go do because I see my parents doing it, and I understand like I need to live a certain kind of way. What you do is you go out, and then you just try as many different things as you can in order to find that identity. So what you do is like you go out, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna move here. And then I'm going to create this identity. I'm going to become this person. I'm going to be who I want to be. And then me living like that is going to then tell me if I'm that person.
I love the way she just looked at it like, what? Like, her brain is really trying to wrap it.
I know.
It's like, whoa.
Like, if I understand what you're saying, like, I go up somewhere, they give me all of the things that they have, and then now when I start, like, I grow up, I'm like, this is not who I am. You go out there, you try everything that they give you, and then you be like, this is not, and then you create
You create it for yourself. So it's like you create the identity. Like, you don't have the identity, so then you get to decide what your identity is. So it means like if tomorrow I go outside and I'm like, I'm a tree, then everyone will be like, yeah, you're a tree. Because everyone has to respect your identity. So it's like nobody understands their identity or knows where they're coming from, so then they just choose. That's why people go to different cities. Because when you move to another city, like if Kajas Raymond wants to start over tomorrow, right? I'm not saying he would do this, but if like conscious Ariman decides he wants to change his identity, he'll go to like, let's say
Thailand.
Thailand.
That's a popular destination.
That's very specific.
People do that a lot.
Yeah.
Go to Thailand or Cambodia and change their identity, find themselves.
Sounds like he was going to do this. Yeah.
At one point, honestly, at one point, I was going to go to the Buddhist temples. I was gonna do
really?
it. I really was.
What were you gonna do? Just like move to the mountains of
Yeah,
the
because
Buddhist temples?
the thing was, I was already so fed up with society, and I didn't know where else to go. So I was like, I'm just gonna leave.
Mhm.
So let me just go look at the Buddhist temples. But then what saved me was the fact that I think I heard it was Kwame Ture speak.
Ture, yeah. Stokely
And then
Carmichael.
Stokely Carmichael.
Yeah.
And then he started talking about, like, our roots in Africa and all this stuff. And I was like, I never thought of that.
Mm.
And then that's what made me start looking back to, like, Africa. Like, okay, so clearly that's my roots. So, like, why would I go to the Chinese or the Japanese man and try to find myself? Which didn't make any sense. But that's what people do. She's like,
No, it's real, and really like their identity is your work.
Yeah, I see that.
It's like, people will be like, oh, that's why when you go places, people will be like, what do you do? That's the first thing they ask you is what do you do? Because your identity is centered around your work. So then it's like, oh, I'm a doctor. And then they're like, oh, okay, good. You say, oh, I don't have a job. And we're like, oh, okay.
That happened to me
Yeah.
in Canada. Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like
Like someone asked you that?
Yeah, someone like, she saw me and then she was like, what do you do in life? I'm like, oh. Like, she didn't ask me my name. That was weird. I'm like, okay. Okay, I'm working on Ancaster. She's like, what's Ancaster?
Yeah.
And then I start explaining, and then she just ignored me, like, she's like, whatever. I'm like, okay.
Well, see, that's the thing is like, because what people won't admit about America or in the West is different people, depending upon what you do, that's how much they value you, or that's how important they think you are. So if you say like, oh, I'm a doctor, people are like, oh, okay, wow, you're important, you're good. You say like, okay, I'm a chef, they're like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. But then if you say like, what's a profession? If you say it, somebody's gonna be
garbage
like,
man.
Yeah, you're a garbage man. They're gonna be like, oh, you pick up garbage. Okay.
But ironically, the garbage man makes way more than the chef.
Yeah, I mean, garbage men make money, bro. Garbage men get paid. But the difference is like here, what you do depends how important or how much value you have. Whereas that in Meritah, everyone has the same respect. But here, your respect comes from depending upon how important they think what you do is. So if you're like Kim Kardashian, because you know who Kim Kardashian is, right?
Yeah.
Like Kim Kardashian, you're important. You're like super duper important. But then
For doing nothing.
Yeah, for nothing. She's a fucking
exists.
She just exists. Like she just talks. Like she just but anyway, let's not even talk about her. But like it's like when you're Kim Kardashian, here you are super important. But if you take Kim Kardashian to, let's say we take her to Tambiga.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone's gonna be like,
Okay.
yeah, like
So?
yeah.
And
No one's gonna care. You take her to Soko Day, like you take her to a village, like you take her to Kavum, and everyone's gonna be like,
all right.
no one's gonna recognize her.
No.
I doubt it. But
That's-
here, she's huge. But that's the thing, is the identity here is centered around what you do. Whereas that there, it's like the identity is centered around like, oh, okay. Like, at least there, people will ask you, like, where are you from?
Yeah.
Like, okay. Like, who's your father? Who's your mom? But here, they're like, what do you do? And then everything is based on that conversation. Everything starts from there.
And I noticed that you're right. rarely do you ever hear in conversations in America like family comes up. Rarely. It's
No,
always
never.
centered around like the individuals and like what they do, or how much money they make, or maybe their girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, what vacation they go on. It's never about like the things that are the foundation of the person.
Well, I mean, it's also like, you know, the only time people ever ask you where are you from is if you don't speak English good, or you're not white, or there's something about you that seems foreign. Other than that, they're not going to ask you, like, another white person will never go up to another white person and then ask them, where are you from? But the amount of times I get asked, where am I from?
Well, it's confusing with you.
Well, yeah, of course. But okay, that's fair. But do you get asked where you're from?
What?
Do you get asked? Do people ask you where you're from?
Yeah, people ask me.
Yeah, because she has an accent. So fuck you. Yeah, it might be the fact that no one can tell. Yeah, I look Indian to some people. I look Mexican to some people. I look Dominican to some people. I look Arab to some people. I look mixed to other people. I look, no one can. I'm like an enigma. No one can figure me out. But outside of that, fucker, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that like that becomes also a part of the identity. Is like, oh, okay, where are you from? Like, how do you figure out where the person is from? And it's like, then that also informs how much value, or like the way you kind of classify the person.
So you're saying like value because like for example, if somebody says they're from like Paris, right? Because Paris has this status, whatever, instantly the person is like, oh, cool, where in Paris? Oh, I always wanted to go.
Exactly.
Oh, wow, I'm going on vacation next month. Wow. But if I say like, oh yeah, I'm from Ghana, it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, Ghana. Is it safe there?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, what part of Ghana?
To make sure we don't
Why are you
kill
doing that
people
face?
there.
That's my astonished white person face. Yeah, because that's what they do. Like, oh, from Ghana. Oh, do you live here? Were you born here? Did you grow up in Ghana? They're like, is it safe back there? It's true. I mean, whatever. Those are the kind of conversations that's the kind of shit I always get hit with. Like, don't act like you don't get hit with that kind of shit.
No, I do, especially when I say Jamaica.
Yeah.
Like, I get two reactions. Either it's like, oh, awesome, I want to go, or it's like, oh, cool, like, is it safe there? Like you said, like, oh,
Yeah.
it's dangerous, right?
Oh, what part of Jamaica? Like, oh, is it safe in Jamaica?
It's just to mess with people, I tell them, nah, it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my family, they're actually gangsters. They kill people.
Do you now?
I do.
Gosh. So, like, what else? What else has been your takeaway in America in terms of the things you've seen? Has there been anything you do like?
In America?
Yeah, in America. Has there been anything that you're like, oh, okay, that's nice?
Wow, she has to really think hard about it.
I know. She's like, in America? Things I like? No.
I don't think so.
No?
No, honestly, I
No,
don't.
it's good. No, it's good. It's good to be honest, because I think a lot of people in America think, like a lot of people especially don't leave America, they think that America is the best.
Because it's promoted to them that way too. Like the same way they promoted to the outside that it's the best, it's promoted on the inside that it's the best.
Of course.
Which is why most people never leave. Because it's almost like, why would I leave if they see everybody coming here?
Yeah.
Or trying to come here. Like most people, a lot of people in America don't even have a passport.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, a lot of people in America don't.
Which is, like, I didn't know that. Like,
Yeah.
until a few years ago when I started to see, like, most people just didn't go anywhere.
Some people don't even
Like-
leave their hometowns.
Yeah.
Like, some people don't even leave. Like, let's say, like, someone grew up here, like, in this town. They don't even leave the town. Like they stay here the whole time.
I couldn't do that.
No, I couldn't do that.
I couldn't.
Even when I was in high school, I used to go to the other high schools to date because I'm like, man, okay, the pool is kind of limited.
You didn't want anyone in your circle to be knowing your business?
Exactly. That's exactly why.
Understandable.
Because people are just always in your business.
Understandable.
So I was notorious for always going to other high schools. Like one time we broke into another high school. This is how
Broke into the high school while it was closed?
No. Like we snuck into the high school while it was open. So this is what we did. I doubt Marcus Jackson will ever listen to this show, but shout out to Marcus Jackson. So me and Marcus, there were these girls at another school in Haltom. The name of the school was Haltom. And so what we did is we went to the other school. And so Marcus used to go to Haltom. And there were these two girls that we were dating at the time, and we wanted to go see them. So we snuck into the school, right? So we walked in, and before we got inside, the security guard came up. And then Marcus, because he used to go to that school, he said, there's Mr. Bob. That's the security guard. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, here he comes. So I was like, okay. I was like, follow my lead. Okay? He's like, okay. So the security guard walks up, and I was like, hey, how you doing? He's like, where are you guys going? And I'm like, we're just coming back from lunch. And he's like, from lunch? He's like, I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, what do you mean? He's like, you're not supposed to be leaving the school for lunch. And then I'm like, why? And he's like, because you can't leave the school for lunch. I said, well, I just moved here from New York. I said, and in New York, we can leave the campus for lunch.
Which is not a lie.
It's not. And then he was like, well, I didn't just move from New York, though. That was definitely a lie. And then he was like, no, you can't do that. And I was like, really? I was like, I can't do that? And then he was like, no. And I was like, oh. I was like, okay, well, at least now I know we're not allowed to leave. He's like, yeah. And then he was like, go inside. And I was like, all right. And then that's how we got in school. So, if you ever in a jam, that's what you can do to the security guard. You can just act like you're supposed to be in there, and as long as you're good enough at lying, hey, they'll let you in the school. I mean, that was what I did when I was a teenager. I don't do that now. And I hope no adults ever do that now. That's very creepy and very weird. But yeah, I don't remember how we got off on that tangent.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Because people don't leave their town.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's right. Because people don't leave their towns. But, so then what else do you hate about America then? Yeah, I mean, hey, we might as well just be honest.
I just remembered something that made me laugh.
What?
Nah, because there was a meme, right? And the meme was of this guy. If you're from Brooklyn or even Jersey, you understand this.
Yeah.
Like, it was this dude in a pool. He had his pants sagging with a North Face jacket on and a ski mask. And he was on vacation for the first time. Like, he was like, this shit whack. I'm about to go back to the block. Because it was like, people don't leave the block.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah, what else, Yenboam? Well, okay, how about this? How do families live there?
In Africa?
Like in Meritah, compared to like how they live here?
In Africa, I mean, I'm come from like a big family. Like, you can come in the house and then you're gonna see many people. Like, start from the old to the young. We live together. We live together. Like, we don't. You can see us like really being like. So like the elder is there in another house, and then your dad is somewhere, your mom is somewhere. We all like in the same house. Children to mom, to all of that. So when you wake up, you know that like my grandmother is this room. I have to go check on her. My grandpa is there. My dad is here. You know, we have the community like to come together, being together. Yeah, we live like that.
So then how does that, because like what you just said, like going to check on her, like what does that mean to go check on like the elder?
Go check on her mean like, for me, when you wake up at morning, at least the thing that you have to do is like go check if your grandmother wake up and then how she's doing. It's like something that to show like respect to her, like I'm thankful to have you, something like that, to show her like I respect you for that. And then
So then how, let me ask you this. Here in America, it's like, you don't value, like even you take your grandma and you kick her out of the house. Like you take your grandpa and you kick him out of the house. So what you do is you go find like someone else and then you take grandma or grandpa and then you put them in that house. And then you pay this person to take care of them.
And the house has other old people from other people's families that they're also paying to be taken care of, and they're all in that same area, but they're not all family.
And then the old people want to break out.
break out.
Yeah, they want to sneak out, like escape, and they want to leave, but they can't.
Like, if something that I notice here in America is like everything is about money, but it's not about money. Like, money, we know, like, here you have to pay everything. Even to breathe, you have to pay for breathing. Like,
Yeah, it's true.
come on, but at least your grandma, grandpa, like the one that give birth to your dad or your mom, money, like, it's not money we're gonna make her like give you that vow. I'm gonna say like
The value.
yeah, the value. Thank you. Like, it's not that gonna make you have that thing. Like, for us, the saying that like is good to like take care of your grandmother. I mean, in Africa, it's not like we don't have money. We do have, but
Yeah.
money cannot make your grandmother to feel like you like her. No. But like the small thing like, oh grandma, what do you wanna eat today? Oh grandma, do you want me to bring you some drink? Grandma, do you want me to do this? Grandma, how do you wake up today? She know like, oh, this child is a good child. Like, I give her everything, you know. And then at least like she's saying good things on you. That's more like gonna make you like have like
Blessings.
thank you. Blessing, thank you. So if here like you take your grandmother, I know for sure she'll insult you. Like, for sure.
Take your grandma, kick her out of the house. Get out, grandma.
Like, it's the age where she really need to be around her family, you know. It's that age. And then when you kick her out, she'll feel like bad. And then saying stuff that's not good about you guys. Like, you, her grandchild, is not good for you. It's like, yeah. I think people here don't understand, like, the power that our grandparents have on us. So they just like, I don't care, you know. Yeah.
Well, it's sort of like the duality, or like it's like the other side of the pole. It's like one side is this and then one side is that. And then it's like the same way you wouldn't take a baby and leave them out in the street. They don't understand that now that's just the other cycle, or the polarity, or the duality of life, where it's like, okay, when you were small, your parents took care of you.
Yes.
And then now your parents are old. Now the child takes care of the parent. So then when they cut that out, what happens is you lose that aspect of life where you can pass the thing from the grandparent to the child of the grandparent's child. So because they lose that, they don't really understand the roles that everybody has in the house. So what could you explain to people about like how everyone has a role, like how the grandmother plays a role, the father plays a role, the mom plays a role, like the eldest daughter plays a role that's different from the eldest son. Then it's like then the second son plays a different role than the eldest son. It's like the youngest daughter plays a different role than the oldest daughter. So can you explain that to people? Because I don't think a lot of people have that kind of exposure or understanding of how a family has different roles and how everyone plays those roles.
Yeah. So, to be like, in mine, I will use mine.
Yeah. You can, yeah.
Okay, like in my house, I have my grandmother, and then I have my dad, and then I have like my mother, like
Yeah. Your dad's wife.
my dad's wife. Thank
Yeah.
you. So, I know like my grandmother is like our root, if I would say like, you know, but
They
she,
would maybe use the term matriarch.
yes,
Like the eldest lady in the
Yes,
house
yeah.
that everyone kind of looks to as
Yes.
the oldest lady.
yeah, to refer to when everything's going, and then my dad is like, so he's the dad. He's like he's the one who can like make grandma gonna do her job, and then he's the one who gonna make sure it's
Everything stays tight,
tight,
like together.
And then the wife, they like, you know, mothers, they're sweet sometimes, and then they have sometimes
Sour sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a
Everything's
mom.
going.
Yeah, it's your mom. Yeah.
So her job is taking care of us too, like taking care of the children, and then the biggest child is for her to make sure like whatever grandmother will transfer, and then like the dad will make sure to stay for her to make sure they like the youngest see that through her, and then make sure to follow that rule, like small by small. And then the first son, he's like the man of the house.
Well, after the dad.
Yeah, after the dad. After the
Yeah.
dad, of course.
Yeah.
He's like the man of the house. And then I used to call my little brother, like the eldest, my dad. Since our dad is traveling, yeah, I used to call him like my dad, my dad. It's because if our dad is not around, he will be the one to take like over.
Charge.
Yeah, the charge. And of course, like being the eldest, I have to do it, but I need his help. Like I need him to show like male energy inside. So he's doing that. And then the youngest one, they make sure like, like we don't know who's the younger for now, but the youngest one, he just makes sure like he follow what we're saying, and then he pass through what the other one is behind him. Like it's something like that. It's going like that, and then yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing.
So then, can you imagine, like, people don't grow up here with that. So they don't have that kind of understanding of, like, oh, okay, grandma is important. Like, here they don't even think grandma or grandpa is important, right?
They just like grandma for her cookies.
I mean, that's if you have a grandma.
Right.
Like, that's even if, like, grandma is, like, not in a home. Because then you only see grandma when you go visit her, when you go to the place, wherever she is. So, and some people don't even have dads, right? Some people grow up not even knowing who their father is. Some people grow up not knowing who their mom is. Some people grow up not knowing who both of their parents are. Some people don't have siblings. They grow up as an only child, right? But then the difference that I've seen is like in Meritah is like even when you don't have siblings, you still have siblings because you grow up with like your cousins, you grow up with other kids,
Yeah.
But here, it's like everything is so individualistic that you don't really grow up with other kids, and you don't grow up with roles, because maybe dad's in prison, dad's in jail, dad's not around, mom is in prison or in jail, or the government is saying like, hey, we'll give the mom this money and this and that, and then the mom is like, yeah, I hate the father anyway, and then is like keeps the child away from the father and does all this kind of stuff. So people don't grow up with that. So how do you think someone would, what can you imagine someone being without having that?
I would say it would be bad for the person. Yeah. Like, girls don't have that. Like, if your dad is not how to give you that education, like for the mom is okay, but we all need like our dad to give us that. Like, I don't know how to explain because my English is not very well. But
no, it's
You're doing
okay.
fine.
Your
I'm
English
trying.
is good.
I'm trying so bad. So like, I mean, I can't imagine like in Meritah, our mothers, like I don't see them saying like I don't want like my son to be like my child to be close to his dad, because they know that is important, like something that is so value for them to have the dad around, and then the same thing to have the mom around. Like both of them together, they make like the child be like someone like, and then if you grow up and then you don't have that, I mean, I'm so sorry, but I would say you miss.
Or like lost, you would say.
Lost,
Yeah.
yes. Like, I don't
Like a bag and you're floating in the wind,
Yeah.
with no direction.
Yeah.
Just
And like, and here, the way you guys living, yeah, I would be like the person is lost. But in Meritah, we have that chance. Like, we have like neighbors. We're not the same family, but we still like we don't put that difference between us. And then if you don't have that, like you go to, like every time going to your neighbor's house, that make you see like that thing. If you seeing that thing, that can build you too. Like I would take for example my friend. She just growing up and then no father around. But since me and her, we meet and then she become my friend, every time when she come and then my father is not around too. He travel because of work, but he's around. So when she come and then she
I was gonna say, I was like,
he's around, just work, yeah. So when she come, like she used to come to my house and then see my dad around, and then the way my dad function with us, she was like, I want him like a dad, you know. I want him like a dad. And then since then, I'm like, oh, my friend says she want me like a dad. I'm like, being his daughter is not like something simple, dude. Like, that thing, the way you see him with us is not like that. Like, it's sometimes sweet, sometimes like, come on. You know? And then, yeah, he make like, because of that, today my friend, like, she make sure to reach her father. And then now the talk, she living there and then all of that. I mean, it's so important. But here, everyone is just in their house. No one's care about no one. So it's difficult. You will be lost easily after that.
yeah, I remember there's a time when I was walking down the street and there was this older lady, and you know, growing up, I know I'm from, like, we at least say hi to people, right? We say good morning, we say how you doing. Like, everybody greets everybody. So I told the lady, hey, good morning, how you doing? She looked at me with disgust. I was like, whoa, okay. But I say that to say that here in America it's just different. You know, people don't have that kind of like connection. So even like, for like what Yenboam is talking about, most people don't even know their neighbors.
And
like,
they don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
Yeah.
Unless something's going on and then they want to be nosy peeping through the window.
Yeah. Well, they only care about their neighbors when they're about to call the police on you.
Yeah.
Like when you're doing something that's annoying to them, then they care. Then they're gonna call the police. So let me ask you this, Yenboam. Being in America, what would you say has made you realize what you have back home is more valuable or is better than what, like, the TV and the movies and like what you see like on the internet and all of that stuff tells you about America being better, but then you come here and then you're like, I actually have better.
Yeah.
Like I come from better. Like what I have is more valuable.
Yeah.
Like has that made you look at things differently?
Yeah. Like I was saying, being like in Meritah, when we like they give us everything, like culturally they give us everything, but every time be on TV, look at America, you be like, oh, I wanna go there. Like when you guys was talking about Kim Kardashian, I was seeing them in TV and then on social media, I'm like, oh, those are so like.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, so when my dad told me like, oh, you're going to America, I was excited. I'm like, I'm gonna have the life that I want. Like, this is not life. Like, I'm out. I'm out and all of that. Yeah. And then when I came here, I mean, I put what they give me on side. And I'm like, I want to live life. What you guys give me, I
have arrived.
Yeah.
Did you stand on the balcony and shout?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you're like
coming to America.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you too.
I'm Queen.
Yeah, and then I start living my life, and I have a dad that like when you go somewhere, like you take a wrong path, he won't say nothing. He'll look at you, keep going, and then when you realize that it's a bad path, you wanna be in the right path, and then we'll be like, oh, okay, since you know better than me, so go. And yeah, I start those kind of things, like when going out, living like, I want to live like American, And then at some point, I didn't realize that so quickly like this, but it took me like a long time to really, at some point, to be like, why I'm doing this? Like, if I want to live this kind of life, like, what I'm going to gain after that? Like, what I will have. And then I was thinking about it, I'm like, because you can't do this like for long period. At some point you have to stop, I'm like, this is not what I really want my life to do. This is not the life that I really want to live. And then this is like fake. Like at some point you will gonna stop and then you're gonna lose a lot. And then it's there, I start like, thank God I have community here. Everyone like trying to talk to me like, yeah, what like really make me realize stuff. And yeah, when I realized that, I was like, damn, Americans don't have nothing. Like,
Oh, dang.
the small that I have is like too much. Like it's much. If Americans have a little bit of the small that they give me, they will be so grateful. They will be so grateful. And I'm like, they just me use what they give me back home to make, like, to build my life here. That would be better for me than use this life. Yeah.
Do you think you would have known that you have something better if you hadn't have come here?
Can you repeat?
Do you think you would have learned that if you were there
No.
and never came here?
No.
How come?
No.
Why?
I mean, at my age, I don't think I will realize that.
You wouldn't believe it.
No, I won't believe it.
Like if someone told you, you'd be like, "You're lying.
You're lying, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you're lying.
You're trying to keep me from going. You want to keep it for yourself, and you don't want to give it to me."
Give it to me, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you're lying. So, why I will? Like, back there, we just looking at you guys here like, God.
Like gods?
Yes.
The way my brother-in-law put it is like, they look at you if you're from America like you fell from the sky.
Yeah. We just seeing you guys like that. So, I mean, yeah, so then if someone told me like I would be different, like maybe I can use the thing that they give me. I can use like whatever they give me, but I would still be like, I wish I can go to America to live this life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I would always be like that.
I want to be like Kim Kardashian.
Sure, yeah.
Kim K.
But thank God my dad is like, come visit and then you will see. So being here, I learned like, you
This
guys
is
have
not it.
nothing. Just,
It's true.
yeah, nothing. I'm sorry, but
No, it's okay. It's good. You have nothing.
yeah, you have, you don't.
For all of you that are listening,
You're not offending any of us here.
you're
so-
not offending any of us. And if you're listening and you're offended, it's good. Welcome to the club. You have nothing.
Yeah.
We have Statue of Liberty.
And what does that do for you?
Absolutely nothing.
Exactly. Yeah, Statue of Liberty. Yeah. You know what else we have? We have
Football.
Yeah, we have football. Yeah. What does that do for you? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Wait, let's see. We have the Grand Canyon. What does that do for you? Nothing.
You know, people actually fight at football. I didn't notice that this was a thing, that there's
Yeah, they fight at
fights
football
at
games?
football games.
Bro, yeah.
A guy died
Bro, they burn
over
they-
football.
Bro, when
A
they
sport.
win, they tear down the city.
That I knew.
Like Philly, like last time Philly won the Super Bowl, bro, they tore down the fucking city.
But why?
Because, bro, everyone is just so like emotionally pent up. Like, think about it, right? Your family sucks.
Uh-huh.
You hate your wife, or you hate your husband.
Your job.
You hate your kids, right? You hate your job.
Uh-huh.
You really hate everyone, right? You hate everything. So you're just there and you're angry, and then you have to have something to distract you from the fact that your life is terrible and your life sucks.
So you're saying that's why America gives us all of these little toys?
Of course. That's why they give you the sports. That's why they give you the drugs. Like people take drugs not because they have problems. People take drugs because they're trying to kill the pain. Like they're trying to numb themselves. That's why people drink. Like it's not like people have any of the spiritual knowledge for why you use alcohol, because alcohol are spirits.
Right.
You know, it's like it's spiritual. Like you smoke weed, everything. Like no, I'm sorry, no, you don't smoke weed in Meritah. Like people smoke weed here. But like people just use it to kill the pain. So then think about it. Your team wins, and then you're drunk, and then now you have like the okay, like the go ahead to beat up people, to go crazy, to be out in the street acting crazy. So why wouldn't you tear down the fucking city?
And real quick, you also have community. Like,
Yeah.
I have a tribe of 1,000 people
Exactly.
behind me who all believe in the same thing.
Exactly. But before that, you don't know who the fuck these people are. You don't get to talk to these people. These people don't get, they won't even say hi to you on the street. But then now that you're wearing the football jersey and you're all wearing the same jerseys, now they're like, hey, yeah.
We all should just go one day. Just buy
To
2
what?
jerseys for both teams, whoever's playing a football game, and the one that wins, we put that one on, and then just go.
Yeah. Bro, you know what I saw? Is if you want to make money, there's this guy that I follow on Instagram. He's hilarious. He's not trying to be funny, but it's so funny. And he says what you do is this. you go to like a LGBTQ, like a gay rally, and then what you do is you make all of the merchandise like supporting like the gay thing, right? Mm-hmm. And then what you do is you make the merchandise saying you hate gay people and that you hate like LGBTQ. And then what you do is you set up 2 tables at different sides of the event, but they're all your stuff. And then you sell to the one people, right? And then you sell the exact opposite merch to the same people that are at the event, but are there to hate at the event.
How much is the startup, the seed money for this?
I don't know, but we need to do it. I know we need to do it. Yeah, we need the next like LGBTQ rally. Like one of us will go buy a whole bunch of like gay pride stuff. We'll go sell it, and then the other one of us will go sell a whole bunch of anti-LGBTQ, and then bro, I'll be like,
I have the perfect shirt. Look,
and then what we'll do? Huh? What does this say?
It says LGBT, but it stands for liberty, guns, beer, and titties.
But then what we'll do is we'll start talking shit about each other at different sides of the event. I'll be like, you guys see that fucking guy over there? Be like, you see that shit he's selling?
We're doing it.
No, I'm telling you, we're doing it. We're gonna make a lot of money.
Makes complete sense.
America.
You see, that's the type of stuff you can do in America.
Yeah, see, only thing America is good for, making money, baby, making money. So there's some questions here. Let's get to some of these questions before we jump into rapid fire. So Matthew Ruta is asking, are there any Kemetic principles that don't align with the use and extraction of fossil fuels, other energy sources, technology, and overall industrialization, consumption, and modern inventions? Matthew Ruta, we have an episode on industrialization. You can go back and watch it. And we would just say, like, anything that harms the earth is anti-Kemetic principles. So, anything that's destroying the earth or, kind of harming nature or taking away from nature, then, yeah, that's stuff that is anti-Kemetic or doesn't align with Kemetic principles. And before we get into the next question, I just wanted to say something real fast. For those of you that are able to see, we have one of our merch shirts in the flesh for you guys to look at. This is it's called Meritah, Not Africa shirt. This is a Gate of Gates exclusive. So if you are looking for it, go to Kebtah, KEBTAH-NJ.org and get your it's called Meritah, Not Africa shirt. So, shout out for those of you that need a better look. I got one right here.
You gotta turn it around.
Oh yeah, no, I know. But wait. And then on the back, that's right, baby. Yeah. Back to your regularly scheduled decolonization. Get it? All right. Next question is, do you legally change your name after initiation? And are people only allowed to call you by your initiatic name? It's up to you. You can change your name legally if you want. Some initiates do, some initiates don't. It just depends on you.
If the part where if everybody's supposed to just call you your initiatic name, I prefer that.
Yeah.
But I know some of my family, like my mom told me straight up, listen, that name is too long for me. So she still calls me, my name, which is fine.
Your parents are not going to call you your initiatic name.
But some family do, but some of them still, the name is too long for me.
Some.
So,
Some do, but some don't. That's just people commenting on the eggs on a burger, but we're not going to go into that.
It's good.
No,
if you
it's
have
not.
it the right way. You didn't have it the right way.
Nope.
You had it outside. You didn't have it inside.
Nope.
Well, I don't think I would like it say either.
Yes, you will.
So some
It's
of these
good food.
questions, I'm gonna go to Warrior Zul Bukande. Do you have to be initiated to go on the Dogon spiritual pilgrimage? No, you don't. It's open to the public. Email travel@theearthcenter.org to sign up for it. How did the Kemetic ancestors protect their resources from invaders? And how can modern Africa do better to protect their resources? You want to answer that?
How? Like physically? I could be funny and just say a spear.
I mean, yeah, you could. Or you could answer the question for real, you asshole.
Well, if by resources you mean like gold and those kind of things, then you would have to understand that there are certain things that are like spiritual in nature. So certain things are like sacred. Like for example, like if you have like a temple has like shrines, and there's all the different materials or entities within the shrines, and those things are, you know, held sacred. So people take those things with them, or there's ways that you can take the spiritual aspect or the non-material aspect from those things and transfer them into other objects so they can be moved with you. But if you're just simply talking about, I don't know, like uranium and brass and gold, again, I think Tutip's even answered that certain things is not necessary. Like what would be the point to just be digging up uranium and gold without a purpose? I mean, gold is one thing, but all the other materials that we use today is a completely modern thing. I hope that answers the question.
Warrior Zul Bukande, Chem Warrior, we know that's you, is asking, what is the spiritual function of alcohol? You want to answer that?
Yeah, I would try.
Yeah.
So, like the spirituality behind the alcohol, I mean, alcohol is like a genie. Like we have some alcohol that we call gin.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a spirit behind that, and then we use that particular, like we don't drink alcohol for fun. We drink alcohol for like if you're doing something so specific, so like you like have to extend.
Extend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like communicate.
Yeah, you want to communicate. So yeah, at that-
Express, like expression.
thank you. Express. So you have to, like at that point, you can use alcohol, alcohol to talk to those, because it's the only water. Like you can
Yeah.
use water, normal water, but this one will be like strong, like it's strong things to.
It has a different characteristic.
Yes, thank you. To talk to them. So I mean, I tried.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like just to you wanna add on to that? I mean, I can, but
Not really. I mean, I think her explanation is pretty good, but unless you know.
no. And with that, let's hit it. Rapid fire. Tutalin, why are you so surprised?
Such a smooth segue.
Oh, well, you know, we're not all Sweden like you, or Switzerland. What is it? Switzerland, yeah. We're not all politicians like you.
Oh, I'm retired. So, rapid fire, this is Sultana Hekwashi. Once again, we had some current events. And actually, we had a question in the chat earlier
Oh, okay.
regarding one of our topics.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was perfect.
Oh, so let's just wait to get to the topic then.
Oh,
Yeah, don't have to ask the question after we get to the topic then.
okay. What's the first topic?
Oh, perfect.
So Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have formed a defensive alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 1 second. Okay, we're good now. So basically, it's called the Alliance of Sahel States.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an alliance to basically protect one another when it comes to different coups or different, attempts to at terrorism within those countries, within those nations. it's also an economic alliance as well. They're saying, you know, if there's any economic struggles that they will be able to, you know, step in if need be. But the main thing is fighting terrorism and, you know, the ongoing pursuit of different coups in these Western nations, West African nations. And people are now wondering, will other countries join this alliance? So yeah, any thoughts on the alliance of Sahel?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think to have, you said Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and that's it, just the three of them?
At the moment, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think for any African countries to come together and then to build a formal military alliance, I think is very powerful, particularly with the president that's in Burkina Faso right now. I think that's a really good thing because you have a president in Burkina Faso that's thinking about Africa as a collective, as a whole, standing up and really gaining its footing globally and wrestling its, you know, power and its resources back from these colonial countries that are coming in and then stealing from Africa and have really, really, really taken advantage of Africa. I saw the other day there was this video that France had been paying 85 cents. 85 cents for a gram of uranium. And now that Niger has taken control over their natural resources, they're charging $200
Euros.
a gram. 200 euros. I mean, technically right now the exchange rate is like the same. So they're charging like 200 euros for a gram of uranium.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
So I think it's perfect. I think I think that, you know, for a lot of these European countries, the only language they understand is money. And I think...
And violence.
And violence, yeah, of course. Violence and money. Because now that we live in a post-colonial society where it's like, okay, they're not being so overt with their colonization, now they use colonial terrorism in the form of economic sanctions. So what they do is they say, well, this is a third world country, and we're going to take away your ability or your capacity to make money or to stand globally with other global superpowers and be able to trade, be able to import, export, be able to do basic business. And they're like, no, you're not allowed to do it because we're going to tell everybody that you're a terrorist or you're this or you're that and all this kind of stuff. And honestly, it's like, you know what? Like, that doesn't make sense. So I'm glad that there's this, you know, that the African countries are standing up. Shout out to Ibrahim Traore. Thank you. I should have let you just pronounce it. Shout out to him, because it's like the way he's going and the way he's moving, it's like if he's able to really, and he's young too, he's around my age. He's in his 30s. That guy's 36. So it's like, you know, I'm not mad at it, because I feel like there's just a lot of older people from older generations that are just like, they're bought and sold. They're slaves to America. They're slaves to France. They're willing, you know, like puppets for Europe and for the Western countries. So it's good. It's good to have somebody in there that's not going to be functioning like a puppet and is not just going to be a yes man for the colonial countries and what they want to do. And hopefully it gets to a point where all the other African countries band together and then they kick everybody out of Africa and then they really stand for themselves. So
that's where it needs to go. That's definitely where it needs to go. But you're right. You know, there's a lot of people in Africa today that stand with a very colonial mindset and will stand with the colonial powers just because during the time of colonialism, they made sure to educate a specific demographic of people, the youth at that time. So now the youth at that time becomes the people who are now kind of like putting their foot on our necks today
Exactly.
in this time. But now on the flip side, the youth of this time are now able to see that and to see where things went wrong in the past. So now it's kind of like a reawakening of, dare I say, the older ancestors, the true owners of the land, coming back in the youth of today
And they're
to kick
get
out the
out.
ones who have been educated by the enemy.
Exactly. And the thing is, this too is like, I see there's another question that says, why is France so reluctant to leave Niger? What will be the outcome? The reason why France is so reluctant to leave Niger and why they're willing to go in and fight and try and reclaim the democracy in Niger is because France is useless. France relies on Africa for everything. They use Africa for everything.
You are ready for that?
Huh? Yeah. France is useless. France, they're so lazy and useless, and they're relying on Africa for everything. So it's good. It's good that they're kicking France out. And the reason why they're not going to just let Niger go without a fight is because France is depending upon Africa, particularly the West African countries and their colonies, in order to maintain themselves as a global superpower. So if you take that away from France, then they're unable to, posture themselves as a global superpower.
Putin said it.
Say what you want about Putin, but Putin said it. And he said to Macron, he was like, if these West African countries stand up, then France, you cease to exist. So shout out to Russia and shout out to Putin. And dare I say, shout out to the coup in Niger.
Before we transition to the next topic, it's important to note that the entire colonial or Western world was built on the back of African resources.
Thank you.
So
That's right. That's right.
Our Meritah is the past, and it's also the future. So for this to even continue, we would have to humble ourselves to Africa, to these lands at some point, to acknowledge where we even got everything from.
And it's happening.
So we have a debt even to that land in a real way. And Russia, Putin, China, they're kind of they're playing it smart to say the least. Because Western nations still have an arrogancy or this this hero of we run this shit. But eventually it's going to turn back on us, and it's happening real quick.
It's happening now.
It's happening. It's happening.
All right, so
Next topic.
So family sues Google, alleging that its Maps app led to their father's death.
Damn.
So yeah, it's crazy. So essentially, this father, after his child's birthday, he was driving, and the map took him to basically like a barricade of a collapsed bridge. And he ended up falling 20 feet, unfortunately, to his death.
Dang. Wow.
So now the family is suing Google for the app malfunction or the app's poor directions.
Damn. So there was a guy using the GPS, right? And the GPS told him to go down this road, and the road ended up being a bridge that wasn't there. So he drove off of a cliff and then died because the GPS told him to drive off the cliff. So, yeah.
Messed up.
I mean,
Listen, I support the family, and I'm gonna tell you why I support the family. Because last year I was driving, and I was using Google Maps.
this happened to you?
Something similar happened. I was using Google Maps.
How did you survive?
Because I wasn't stupid. But just look. So I'm driving, right? It's telling me to turn right. But I'm looking and I'm like, if I turn right, I'm going to end up in the lake. What are you talking about? I had to stop the car and really think to myself, like, what is it really saying right now?
Yeah.
But like, it was a whole road that was not there at all. I'm like, nah, something's wrong. I had to turn it off. I went and switched to Apple Maps. I'm like, nah, something's wrong.
And then Apple Maps is like, yes, nigga, turn right.
No, Apple Maps saved my life because I guarantee you, somebody else might have turned right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, yeah, because you're not thinking. Because GPSs allow you to not think. Because I think about like when we go to Tambika, when we go to like Hadasha,
We
no
don't have
one's using a GPS.
Right.
And then you're just like in the middle of nowhere, and then all of a sudden you see somebody turn, and then you're like, damn, where are we going? But it's because people don't think here. So I mean, you know, hey, that's one of my biggest fears is driving off of a cliff, like by accident or something like that, like just like falling, like because I don't like heights, I don't like tall areas. So like that's one of my biggest fears is falling off a cliff. That sucks to be, you know. Rest in peace to him, and you know.
I hope they get their money.
I hope they get paid, man. Like now it shouldn't be called Google Maps. It should be called whatever that guy's name is. It should be called blah 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 Maps. Yeah, because they're gonna get paid, man. They need to take them for everything. Oh. R.I.P. to Philip Paxson. May you be received by your ancestors. Philip Paxson Maps.
All right, next topic. So, Coast Guard arrests a man trying to run a giant hamster wheel across the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, particularly. So, Reza Baluchi.
Wait, what?
Reza Baluchi attempted to run a giant floating hamster wheel across the Atlantic Ocean. He built it himself with different buoys and wires and you know, metal framings and so forth. It's like a giant bubble, basically. And the Coast Guard had to stop him for safety reasons. They quoted, he was conducting a manifestly unsafe voyage. And
Okay.
They should have let him go.
So you see this?
They tried to capture him.
You see this thing? Okay.
They tried to capture him, and in that process, he threatened to kill himself. He had a knife, and he said he had a bomb inside the bubble. And he threatened to kill himself. So it took 7 days to actually.
I'm sorry, this is fucking hilarious. So you see this thing?
Yeah.
So a man built a one he can fit in, right? And then he wanted
himself?
Yeah, he himself. And then he built it so he could be inside, and then he could then use this to run from America to Europe or Africa. Yeah. Yeah. And so they arrested him. But then when they were going to arrest him, he threatened to kill himself. He was like, I'm going to kill myself if you come close.
I think he feels how you feel. This place is horrible. I'm willing to end it now.
Yeah, but buy a ticket.
understand him,
Yeah, but like, yeah.
Said you don't have a passport.
Oh, he did? Oh, well.
Nah, they should let him go. I'm curious to see if it'll work.
Me too. Me too.
I'm curious.
No, I'm sorry. That's the funniest thing I've heard in a long time.
This is like his fourth attempt. So,
Fourth attempt?
What?
I think he's made it.
How did he get it?
He's made it more than 1,000 miles. I think in previous attempts.
So it works.
He's moving. He's moving somewhere.
But how did he, like, what? I have so many questions.
Like, he might be onto something, guys. Maybe we should think about investing in this.
No.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
I mean, that
Think
be,
about it. Just pack some food in there and just
No,
we take turns rolling
I
it.
don't know, but
Yeah,
I won't
but-
do this.
but where do you go to the bathroom?
Maybe there's a part you open and you just
And then you throw it out?
Yeah.
What are you going to do if the sharks,
Or like trying to get at it.
yeah, like attack the...
Well, it's plastic. They're not gonna really try to, I don't know.
This guy, I have so many questions for this guy. Think about like if he had that, if he was using that like intelligence to do something else.
But
you
Sen,
told you.
he's desperate. Sen, he's desperate though. He
Yeah,
had
but
to.
like that's ridiculous. But you could tell he's like pretty resourceful.
To put it simply,
you should
he
invest.
says, if you drive a boat, nobody cares. Bubble, nobody did it before. So, I think
He's trying to lead the.
he's a pioneer.
He's a pioneer. He's trying to lead the wave of revolution. Okay.
Listen. Don't be surprised if in the future sometime there's gonna be bubble boats.
Bubble boats.
Yeah, and it'll be because of this guy.
That sounds like It sounds like something you would see like rich people like doing,
Exactly.
like on a yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what the fuck they did with that whole submarine that went missing. Like
But
that's some
that's
rich
a-
people shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Like there's no amount of money you can give me to go deep in the ocean.
No way.
Like, I don't, like, what is in the ocean?
Weren't they
What's in
searching
ocean
for the
me?
Titanic or something like
It
that?
doesn't matter, bro. What's in the ocean for you? Nothing. We're not supposed to be in the ocean. If we were supposed to be in the ocean, we would be mermaids. We're not mermaids. We're not supposed to be going into the ocean.
Okay. On that note,
Shout out to the bubble boat.
Okay.
We're also not supposed to be Super Saiyans, but yet there is a retreat basically where they're trying to recreate like a hyperbolic time chamber. Kind of like how, like, you know, in Dragon Ball Z, like, you know, Goku would go and he would train and become like a superhero, superpower, super strength. So in Bali, there's a group of men that are creating, you know, that experience. for other
Is
people.
this where you were gonna go, bro?
Absolutely not.
This is where you were gonna go in Thailand?
No.
In Cambodia?
No.
But, you know,
Sure.
to put it simply, it's basically a space for men to, like, you know, work out, to work in their business, you know, to collaborate on certain things. They have all the state-of-the-art equipment. You know, it's a beautiful space, but of course, there's no women allowed. So,
Oh, there's no women allowed?
men only, yeah.
Men only? Are these dudes gay?
You'd have to
Huh?
ask them.
You'd have to go there to find out.
Fuck around and find out.
Yeah, they're like, now that you're here, yeah, they're like, now you can find out.
Paradise. Yeah.
So it's basically, it's like what? Like you're saying that women are the problem as to why you can't accomplish your goals?
They're saying they're a distraction.
Like women are a distraction?
That's what they're saying. Yeah.
Have you gone here?
No,
Because you're
no,
like
no.
even
But I picked this topic.
because you're even being like, I understand this.
I do
completely.
understand.
Yeah.
You understand too. You know you understand.
Yeah, I do understand. I'll never forget. I was writing a project,
Mhm.
right? And I was in the thick of it, and I was in a relationship at the time, right? And I was writing a short film, and so I just kind of locked in for a weekend, and I just started writing, and like I wasn't sleeping that much because like when you're working and you're really like in it, like you're just like, you know, I gotta get back to it, and I was just working, and at the time, my girlfriend at the time was like, it was so interesting because there was something she was upset about. I don't even remember, but she was like threatening to leave me, and I just remember
Because you were working.
I don't know, but it was like I was writing the project, and I was so like in the project, and like something was going on, like something had happened in our relationship and had come to like a head, that she was like threatening to leave me, and I just remember like one night I was like sitting at the computer, I'll never forget this, and she was like complaining about something, and I just kind of looked at her and I was like, can you just stop like for 1 second, like, and let me finish this and then we'll talk? And then I just remember like thinking to myself, I was like, I would have like been so much more focused if she wasn't
Here.
like here.
Yeah.
And if she wasn't distracting me while I was trying to work.
Yeah.
So I can understand what these dudes are talking about in terms of going into the jungle and then like not
Isolating
allowing,
yourself.
isolating yourself
Yeah.
and not allowing any women.
Uh-huh.
I totally get it to some extent. But then the thing I also don't understand is like, why can't you do that here? Like, why do you have to go to the jungle to do it?
Because it's the same thing we were talking about earlier. People just feel better going somewhere else. It's just all it is. That's all it comes down to.
So-
they just literally feel better somewhere else.
How much money does this cost? Does it say to Tana?
That's a good question. Please hold.
Probably like $2,000, $5,000.
The property itself, based on the website, based on the marketing, it's going to be a couple racks. Let me see.
Couple racks?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. One. Oh, that it actually isn't that bad.
How much?
It's $1,300 for a week.
A week?
$2,400 for 2 weeks. You know, it goes up to 4 weeks.
So 1 month is how much?
So that's pretty. That's if you think about it as like a high level Airbnb, you're getting. Yeah.
I mean,
Bro, why can't you just go get a hotel room for a fraction of that cost and just go work in a hotel room?
because they're in Bali, son. They're in the forests, in the mountains, with the rivers and the trees and the breeze.
Okay, so just go to the fucking jungle and then get you an extension cord and plug that shit in. Why don't you go next door to their thing and then get an extension cord and then be like, bro, can you plug this in for me? Okay, huh?
We should go there. We should go. We should see what's up.
I'm not going, bro.
We're gonna come back super. We're gonna come back fit. We're gonna come back fit and rich.
Nah, I feel like there's a bunch of gay niggas there. Like, it's just gonna be like a bunch of gay dudes. You're gonna walk in there and be like, hey, yeah.
Don't call that energy down.
No, bro.
Nah, man.
It's probably some weird shit going on there.
Nah, man, come on.
Bro, they center that shit around being a Dragon Ball Z character.
Hyperbolic time chamber. They're saying
it don't matter.
They're saying you can get so much done in this little bit of time because you have no distractions.
Yeah, but you could do that shit. Go get a fucking hotel room.
They have waterfalls.
It's not the same.
They have
a
waterfalls?
waterfall.
I
See?
swear to God, y'all have been there. Y'all have been there. Okay, hot next
Okay,
time.
yeah, next topic. I mean, it's a great layout. You know, just take that model of architecture and put it somewhere else for a different reason. Yeah. All right. So,
Y'all are gonna fucking go there. I'm gonna be like, where's Kanja Zariman and Tutonin? Oh, they're in Bali at the hyperbolic time chamber retreat.
all right, next topic. Next topic. U.S. military. All right, sorry, wrong topic. Yeah, U.S. military needs help finding their $80 million fighter jet. So
Oh hell no.
they had a pilot who has not been named flying over South Carolina. He had to eject himself from the flight, and the plane is now lost. So now the military is asking civilians even to help them find the plane. So,
Bruh.
so the congresswoman of South Carolina's pissed, saying, "How the hell do you lose an F-35?" So yeah, there's no tracking device. There's nothing that they can really use to recover $80 million in equipment.
What do you mean there's no way they have an $80 million plane with no tracking device?
Apparently it's a stealth jet, and meaning its airframe, sensors, and systems are designed to operate undetected by radar. So yeah.
But they should have a way to track their own thing. Otherwise, then anybody could use it and just start bombing stuff.
Well, that's the problem.
That doesn't make any sense. Something not adding up.
Okay, so Yenboam, there's. Oh my gosh. So you see this? See how much safer that is? So there's a plane that's worth that much safer. Okay? And they lost it. And they don't they don't know how to find it.
They have no tracker. Like, there's nothing that they can use to
So they can't use
identify
the
its location.
GPS to find it. So it's a 49. I can't even pronounce this number. So I put $80 million in the currency that Yenboam would know from Meritah, and I can't even pronounce this number. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's an 11-figure number in Africa.
That's not trillion. Or what is that?
Hold on. So million, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 80 million in American money is a 9-figure amount.
Uh-huh.
But in Africa, putting the currency, it's an 11-figure amount.
Yeah, it's trillions.
So it's like 10
I don't know,
billion,
bro.
11 billion, like tens of billions.
Yeah, that's a lot of. That's still.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
If you found it, what would you do though? Yeah, imagine you just walking in the forest and you found that.
Well, if you're telling
You
me...
found the plane.
Listen, hear me out. If you're telling me that they have no way to track it,
I want to
and it's a
know.
stealth plane...
So you're saying you're gonna take the plane? Yeah, but you don't even know how. You don't even know how to fly the
I'll
plane.
figure it out.
What are you gonna Google that shit?
No, I'm going to figure it out.
Oh, you're gonna learn that shit at your Bali retreat.
I'll sit there,
You're
man,
gonna
yeah.
go.
Exactly.
Meet up with all your Super Saiyan friends.
Yep, and we'll figure it out. I'll meditate on it.
Okay. Yeah, but what would you do though?
I won't say on camera.
Because you're saying you would take that stealth plane and go do what though?
Let's just say some people are not going to be happy.
Well, I hope Kajazarima never gets a stealth plane, because it sounds like a few people are gonna end up dead. We don't exactly know who is gonna end up dead.
All right, before he incriminates himself, that's what
You got problems with Ukraine? You got problems with America? You got problems with who? You got problems with?
This guy.
Hire me. Hire me. The one and only stealth plane. It's perfect for me. It's Kajazarima. It's my plane. It's perfect.
Next topic. All right, so Democratic legislator approved a law in California to remove the custody of parents who refuse gender reassignment of their own children. So basically, with this law, parents who don't acknowledge or support their child's gender transition, like if you're a man, a boy, I want to be a girl, I want to be a boy. If you don't support that, you face potential consequences up to losing custody of your child. They'll either put them with another parent or give it to the state. There's a lot of support for this bill. It's going through several different phases of approval so far, and it's still being championed by the Democratic lawmakers.
So what's going on is in California, they're making it a law that if your kid comes to you and says, like if you have a son, and then your son comes to you and says, I want to cut my penis off and I want to get a vagina, then if you say no, why are you laughing? If you say no, they'll take take your child from you. Like the government will take your child.
I will take my children to Meritah and raise them, please. I have the right to talk. I have the right to tell you what to do.
Yeah, but they not here. They'll take the child from you. Like if you say no to the child, then they come and they take the child from you.
Did they realize like how they destroyed this, like they destroying the world?
Yeah, but they don't think like that. They think that they're doing something good.
It's sad though. It's sad.
Yeah, I mean it's very sad.
It lost.
It lost. Yeah, it lost.
Yeah, I mean it just ties even more to like people not knowing like what's really going on, because they think that that's like a good thing to do.
Next topic.
Next topic.
Yeah, let's not
Yeah.
even discuss this.
I think we're going to leave it at that one right there.
The other topics are so bad.
It's an evil world we live in, as you said. Yeah.
Oh, the soundboard
There
is
is
down.
one topic though that I heard. I was driving earlier. I was giving somebody a ride, and she was telling me a story about something that happened in New York. Actually, this is not part of rapid fire, but whatever. And she was saying,
Tutona's like, we're not doing any more topics, so I can tell this story. Go ahead.
apparently there was a daycare, and they were selling fentanyl out of the daycare.
Oh shit. Oh.
Yeah.
Is this the kid that died?
Yeah, and one of the children, 1 year old, actually died because of the fentanyl that was in the room. I think like under the cot that he was sleeping on, that they were sleeping on, and also 3 other children are now in critical care. So like it's like a serious situation. The woman got arrested. She's been obviously going through a lot, but the boyfriend and another associate, they're on the run right now.
Damn.
So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So they're selling a drug. There's this drug now, and if you take this drug, you die. Like automatically, you die. So
People buying it?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a good question. But yeah, because
They want to
don't
leave
know.
America too.
No, but they don't know. No, they don't know. They don't tell you, because what they do is they take this drug and then they put it in other drugs. So like let's say you smoke weed or you do this or you do that, they can put the drug in the other drugs. So you can be taking the drug and you don't even know you're taking the drug. So they were selling it out of a place where you can take your kids. Like if you have to go work and you don't have time to watch your kids, like your young kids, like small children, they will take them to a place. And they had a place where they were watching the small children, but they were selling this drug, like, out of that place. And some of the kids found the drug and then took the drug, and one of them died, and a few other children could possibly die. So now those people are running from the police and everything and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Tutanen, thank you for that. It's a hell of a topic to
It's America for you. I mean, it ties into how
to end on.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, there's a lot of different things. What's up?
Oh, there was one question in this chat
Yeah.
that said, y'all against marijuana?
Are we against the marijuana?
Y'all against marijuana?
I mean, you could smoke weed if you want to. It's not like you can't smoke weed. You can smoke weed if you want to. Like, nothing's stopping you from smoking weed. Like, what do you mean by, are we against marijuana? Like, oh, I mean, this is the thing, is like, everything within nature has an identity. So if everything within nature has an identity, then that particular plant has like a entity with it. Because like, if you take the word identity and then you break it down, you have ID and then you have entity. So like, the entity within that plant of marijuana, it's like a very specific genie. It's a very specific entity. We would call it, you can use the word genie and entity interchangeably. It's a very specific entity. So it's not that we're against marijuana, because that's just a genie. It has its function. It has its identity. It has its utilization. It has its usefulness, depending upon what you're trying to do or what you need to do. Now, with that being said, are you going to just call entities on yourself or genies on yourself just for no reason, without understanding the particular usefulness or the particular functionality of a genie? No. Especially if you're somebody that has the ability to perceive things. Like, if you're somebody that has the ability, like, if they might classify you as like schizophrenic, or they might classify you as bipolar, or they classify you as having some sort of mental illness, but in actuality what you really have is what we call like a spiritual predisposition. You would be like what someone within the community would call like a shaman, or what someone in the community would call like a priest in Meritah. Then you wouldn't utilize those things, because you wouldn't need to utilize those things. It's the same reason why people go do psychedelic drugs. People go do psychedelic drugs like ayahuasca or, peyote, or all these different classifications of these plants, because they're trying to use the genie or the entity that's a part of that particular plant in order to do certain things or to reach certain things. So everything has its place. The same way you wouldn't go to a butcher asking them to make you shoes is the same way you wouldn't go to the shoemaker asking for them to give you some
Meat?
some food, some meat. I was trying not to say meat.
Oh, sorry.
But, like, some food, like animals, animal meat. So it's about understanding, what you go to and what you go to it for, and how it's useful, and what's its function and what's its identity. Because identity is just another way of saying, like, this entity is for this purpose, or this entity has its specific reason for existing to be used for this, or so on and so forth. So it's not that we're against it. You could use it as much as you want, but it's sort of like, what's the point? What's the usefulness? What's the utilization of it? And with that being said, we have the doors of initiation opening up in so many of our temples worldwide. We have the doors of initiation all this month opening up in all of our temples. So please, if you're interested in initiation, check it out. There's so many ways you can get involved. There's so many things you could do. Go to the earthcenter.org. There's so many ways you can get involved. There's so many things that you can do to, get involved with the work and get involved with the mission. And, the doors of initiation are open right now in New Jersey. Still, it's open enrollment. If you hate Kajas Ariman, then now is your time, because Kajas Ariman is teaching the current generation that we just opened up
Why
So
you
if
said
want to
hate?
come, or if you
What's this
love,
about?
if you love Kajizariman, if you love him or you hate him, or if you both, if you go between hating him and loving him, he's here. And he'll be teaching that generation, so come check it out. I'm trying to plug you, bro. You know,
Like why they gotta hate me?
most people do hate everyone.
That's true.
That's the thing. Over love.
That's true.
That's the problem with the world, is that if there was more love, then we wouldn't have all the problems we have, Just
You need both, though.
no,
You need both.
just love.
You need both.
Yeah.
We need both.
No, just love. So with that, because for this guy, he's like, why do you have to hate me? He's like, why can't you just love me?
Love me.
Yeah, for this guy, only love. Just love. So with that being said, check out all of the different things. Get your merch, man. Kepta-nj.org. Fight the system in style. Okay? Like, you don't have to fight the system and looking raggedy. Like, be elegant. Fight the system in style. Yeah, we're going to copyright those, so don't try and use it. This has been another episode of the Gated Gates podcast. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. We hope you guys continue to tune in. And like we like to say, now back to your regularly scheduled decolonization. And we'll get up with you guys very soon. See you guys next time. Please continue to tune in, and please continue to support in every way that you do.
Yeah.